Hi sewing friends, Shawnee's here, and I just wanted to give a little preface to this video that's coming up. It's just a snippet into my journey so far in the as it relates to pattern making. So I haven't bought any new patterns. What I'm doing is I'm using my current patterns to make new patterns. I'm using my body measurements, my sloper, to make new patterns, and I'm also using existing garments that I might buy like from the thrift store and copying those to a pattern. So that's my new thing now, because I look at patterns and sometimes it's just so involved when they really don't have to, and it's been a pain in the butt to alter patterns. I just want to get to sewing, but that doesn't mean I won't do it anymore. I'm just not doing it right now. So this is just a little snippet into that, and I just wanted to make the preface, this little preface, is that the word I'm looking for? I'm not even sure. I just wanted to make this little snippet before the video to say I'm sorry for the low energy. It is really low energy. I've watched it twice. I was thinking about editing it, but with the stuttering and the stammering, but I'm like, that's me, that's who I am. But it is low energy. I'm like blah 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 blah, but it's entertaining. I don't think there's really anything to learn, just being honest. But I can't wait to start making some more videos to kind of tell you what has been going on. Won't ever bring anything bad news, because I am not one to bring drama, to bring tea, to do story times, because I like drama. I like to watch drama. I just don't want to be involved in it, right? So enjoy the video and see you next time. Loves. Hello sewing friends. I know it's been a minute since I've done a video, but I am back into sewing. I had to take a little break. I didn't want to take a break, but I was just wrapped up in some things that I just needed to get through, and but I am here. So I wanted to kind of give you a little insight into the world of pattern making. My journey, so not the world of pattern making, but my journey in pattern making. I had a dress that I had bought from Goodwill, and I like the design element, and I bought it a while ago, and I think I wore it one time, but then I realized that like it's just too small, and I think I wore it one time. I don't remember where it was, but I remember that I bought it to copy, and copy is what I have done. So I've already have a pattern for knit skirt, but I needed one for woven, as this is a woven. See, there's no stretch. And one thing I liked about this design element is that it had these tuck pleats, both in the front and in the back. And the zipper was on the side, and then it was fully lined. So here's the lining underneath here. So let me lay this out. And this is the actual length of the skirt minus the waistband up here. So it's pretty short. And then here is the front. And so I kept this assembled because I wanted to remember that the zipper is on the side. And I also liked how they sewn the zipper into the skirt. They actually, stitched it all the way down to the side. But yeah, at first I was like, I don't know how the heck they did this. But then I think, it can't be magic, because it's just stitching. But what they did was they sewn up the side seam, and then they stitched the sides of the zipper tape to the seam. So if I open this up here, let's see, I can't open it up. It's just a little. So they stitched it to the side, but then also this is what this was folded and stitched up. So in all the patterns that I have and all the different skirts that I've made that had zippers, I had sewn the zipper to the fashion fabric and then added then hand stitched it to the lining. But this, I feel like this is completely different. This is, so let me turn it to the outside. So if I had this zipped up, so this is the actual side seam. So it's an invisible zipper. So you can see the zipper here. This is the lining. So what they did was they took the lining and the skirt and they sandwiched it. They sandwiched the zipper on the inside, but the lining is a bit large. So down here, the lining, this is the only place where it was attached. So the skirt and the lining were separate, and the only places that they were attached was hanging from the waistband and then right around the zipper. So as I'm saying that out loud, that's exactly how it's supposed to be. But the zipper was sandwiched between the two. So normally what I have done is I would attach the invisible zipper to the fashion fabric, and then I would have taken the lining. So let me see if I can show you that. I would have taken the lining and I would have hand stitched it to the inside. But so I don't know if I just confused anyone, but it was, I think, to sum it all up, that the zipper was sandwiched between the two and not just tacked or sewn to the back of it. So actually taking this, folding it, pressing it, and then I would have hand stitched the lining to the zipper tape on the inside. So I think moving forward, I'm going to keep this out so I can remember, is that whenever I want to add the zipper between the lining and the skirt, is that I'm just going to sandwich it. Just like that, sandwich the two sides and then get it up into the waistband. So what did I need? So I tried this dress on. I said, okay, how much bigger do I need to make this so that it would fit me? And at first I thought it was an inch, but then I tried that on and it didn't work, and so now I have 3 inches. Yes, 3 inches. Amen. So I separated the waistband at the side seam, and then I added an inch, and then I figured out how much I really needed. So if you're not comfortable measuring yourself, you can actually just detach the waistband from the skirt, put it around your waist, figure out how many more inches you need before this is comfortable. And so that's what I did, and I sewn it to the waistband just to make the waistband longer. And then I took the skirt. So I took a copy of the skirt. So the part that I found challenging was doing these pin tucks. So I have my pattern over here, which what I did was I copied the skirt. Let me make sure I have the top. Yep, so I copied the skirt, and then I measured, there's 4 pin tucks, and then each pin tuck took about 1 inch of fabric. So I added that amount. So I split at the dart, so there was a front dart, and then I split to add the pin tucks, and so I taped it up, and then I kind of like marked where the pin tucks are with this V. So this is like a pin tuck, this is a 1/4 inch space, another pin tuck, 1/4 inch space. So I did that for the front and the back, and then when I went to cut it out and I tried it on, this was super, super, super big. And I was like, what the heck did I do to make this too big? And what it was is that I don't think I was sewing the darts. I know I was not sewing the darts consistent with what my pattern, because I had sewn pin tucks, not darts, pin tucks. I sewn pin tucks before, and it was probably during like my first 2 years of sewing, and I really enjoyed it and I found it very easy. And I'm going to have to go back and do some research to find out like what did I do before, because I kind of just did it off the cuff this time. And I don't know if you can see here, but whenever I did my front and my back, I sewed the pin tucks on wrong. So these are the pin tucks, and you can see I have 3 pin tucks going this way, and then I have 1 going that way. And then on the other side, this is the wrong side of the pin tucks, even though it is a great design element to have that. But let me look it up. This on the right, those are not pin tucks. So I had to make note of that is going to be a little weakness of mine when doing this. So what did I do first? The first thing I did is I would get my ruler, and I got some, I used my friction pen, which disappearing ink, and I drew the lines in and I pressed it on that line, and then I did my stitching. And as you can see right here, my pin tucks, they are wobbly. They're not consistent. They're not the same size. And I can do this. I've done this before. And so what I found out is that drawing a line using a ruler was not the best thing. And then I did the other side, and this one here I did. So even though I have it, you know, again, 3 going this way, 1 going that way, but even when I lay it down like that, they were pretty consistent right there. See that? And what I was doing then is I was taking the notches and I would fold it, pull it tight, fold it, and then I pressed it, and then I stitched along that line, and then I did the next one, and I used my seam gauge to make sure that I had a straight line before I pressed it. So again, oh, also what I did on the ones where it's wonky, where am I at? Right here. Not only did I draw the line in, I stitched those lines, and then I tried to bring those lines together and pin it and then stitch on top of it. So if you look, let me get this a little close. In here, you can see 2 lines. So you see this yellow line, and then like this blue line, and then I think there's like a blue, yeah, blue line. So I was using the blue to stitch along the pleats, and then I pinned them together, and so that was horrible. So it was too big, but I knew, so then all I had to do was figure out how much I had to take in on the side, how much I had to take in on the front and the back, because this piece is, it's actually the dress. It is one side, there's 1 seam in the front and 1 seam in the back, and a skirt just wraps around the body, so it doesn't have a side stitch. And I could not figure out how to do that, but I'm pretty sure it's just going to be, because you know there's a dart in here, so there's curvature to this side seam, and I haven't figured out how to do that, how to duplicate that. But I was like, that's okay, because I can just put the side seam, I can take the center seam out and just keep the 2 sides, so then I have the pleats and on both sides and not a middle seam. But what I did was I slowly just tapered off the side, because originally I think I ended up taking like 4 inches off the side. And then I also put if you look here, this is the back, because it was gaping in the back. So I put a dart in the back so that when it comes around the buttocks, it curves up, and then it catches that sway back right there. So This is the dart that's going to take that bunching that's in the middle of the back. It's going to take that away. And so once I got it to a good fit, I hand basted it to my skirt. So this is the actual, here's the back, here's the front, and so I hand stitch it, and that is a good fit. So what I am going to do now is I'm going to take this off, and the waistband is 2 pieces. So I still have to pattern, I still have to make a pattern for that after I get this apart. So this all works for me. So now I'm just going to go ahead and snip the basting stitch. Go ahead and pull that out for the waistband. Here we go. This is just a basting thread, so it'll snap, crackle, and pop its way out. Okay. So I'm taking, here we go. All right, so here is, that's the one side, and it did take some time to get this sewn on, but it was, you know, it was worth it, because then I can try the skirt on without having to use pins, and I don't have to worry about pinning myself. I don't know if you've seen my videos from many years ago when I was making muslins and putting things on, and I was scratching myself. I still have some scars from hyperpigmentation. I still have scars on my leg from the dreaded pins that scratched the heck out of me back in those days. Fitting is like the worst part of sewing for me. Okay, so here is the waistband. So it's a closure at the side. So this will get cut in half, and we'll pattern that out, noting that there is overlap. So it actually goes to right here, because the overlap where it meets, that's going to be the side seam. And then here is the skirt. Let's get this out. So here's the back and here's the front. So I will open this up. Let me rip this. All right. Here is the back. And so here is the, so I will open this up and pattern this side here, and then pattern the front like so. Well, I can actually do it now. I just want to make sure that I want to make sure that I get my, I'm going to just cut this. So I know I only have one row of stitches, so I'm going to open this up. And I did so at the longest stitch length for this. So here's the back piece. So this is going to be the pattern for the back piece, and I gotta just make sure I've got to get it nice and flat. And then I will do the same thing for the front. So now I can trace this out, and this is going to be the pattern before the pin tucks, and then I will take the pattern, and then I'm just going to open it up and add the 4 inches so I can get my 4 pin tucks. Oh, I think it's 3.5. Add 3.5 to get my 4 pin tucks. And then I can just do them freehand, just using, just determining where the center is for the dart. And then I'm going to put 2 pin tucks on one side of the dart and then 2 on the other. And that should work out. So since this is my back seam right here, these pin tucks, they're a little bit too far to the middle, so I'm just going to scoot them over here. And then for the front, it's going to be the same, where I'll have, this is the bottom, here's going to be the top. So I will go ahead and press this flat. I'll probably use this side because this one's better. And then I'll have my front piece. And then I will pattern those, and then I'll be able to start. I just want to make some skirts for the summertime and kind of play around with the bottom, maybe put like a peplum, play around with some slits. I am now a raving fan of having front slits in the front, or, you know, a kick pleat in the front, and go from there. Okay, 20-minute video. I'm going to go ahead and end there. But so this is just a little step in my pattern making journey, and thank you for watching, and until next time, loves.